Hello everyone, my name is Andre Alexis and I am a Canadian writer. I was born on January 15, 1957 in the port of Spain. Alright, so I'm here to talk to you guys about my most recent novel, 15 Dogs. But before that, let me tell you more about myself and my line of work. So I am a Canadian writer. The first novel that I've written is called Childhood, which I wrote in 1997. And that book, it won the Book in Canada's First Novel Award, and it was a co-winner of the Trillium Award that same year. So after I wrote Childhood, I began my artistic career in the theatre, and I held the position of playwright in residence at the Canadian Stage Company. My short play, Lambton Kent, first produced and performed in 1995, and it was released as a book in 1999. My first published work of fiction, Despair and Other Stories of Ottawa, was shortlisted for the Commonwealth Prize in 1994. Ingrid and the Wolf, my first work of juvenile fiction, was published in 2005. The book was a shortlisted nominee for the Governor's General Award for English Language Children's Literature at the 2006 Governor General's Award ceremony. Another novel that I wrote, called Asylum, was published in 2008, and it was set in Ottawa during the government of Brian Mulroney. In 2014, I published Pastoral, the first in a planned series of 5 novels. 15 Dogs, the second novel in the series, was published in 2015, and it won both the Giller Prize and the Rogers Writers Prize of the same year. The third novel, The Hidden Keys, was just published last year, 2016. I am a juror for the 2017 Scotiabank Giller Prize. I also was named one of the winners for the Windham Campbell Prize for all my successes in past novel entries. I live and work in Toronto for the majority of the time, where I once hosted programming for CBC Radio. I reviewed books for the Globe and Mail, and I am an editor for this magazine. Enough about my boring life, and now let's talk about the book, 15 Dogs. 15 Dogs is about 15 dogs that are given human intelligence by the gods Hermes and Apollo, as part of their bet to see if a dog could die just as unhappy as a human if given their intelligence. So the gods visited a nearby animal clinic on Shaw Street and gave human intelligence to 15 random dogs. The names of the dogs were Magellan, Prince, Benji, Atticus, Frick, Frack, Max, Rosie, Athena, Dougie, Agatha, Lydia, Ronaldo, Bobby, and Bella. After receiving their gift from the gods, they headed out into the streets to start their new life. They eventually all wind up in High Park, where they decide to make it their new home and base of operations. And they live together as a pack. With the pack, there obviously must be a leader. Atticus, since he is the oldest dog there, he is nominated as the leader. The problem with him is that he doesn't like the new language given to him by the gods. He wants to be a regular dog and act like regular dogs do. Therefore, Atticus makes a rule that bans all of the dogs from speaking English or any other human language, and that causes a divide between the pack. So for the rest of the novel, it basically explores the way the dogs live their new lives with their newfound intelligence, and how they live without a master. along with the social order of the dog pack. The main character of the novel is Majnun, who is the black poodle, and he is usually independent and untrustworthy of others. Other main characters include Atticus, the Napoleon Mastiff, who is the leader of the pack, and Prince, a putt who embraced the English language to become a poet. So this book has three major themes. The first is language, and I think it's the most important theme in my book due to the fact that the whole story revolves around dogs using their new language and how it divides them from the other dogs in their own pack and from dogs completely. Certain dogs, like Prince, is more accepting of their new language, and he even embraces it, like I said, to become a poet. But others, like Max, Frick and Freck, are against it, and they want to live like regular dogs, because it makes them way too awkward, and yeah, they think it's just easier just for it to be normal. Death is another huge theme due to how Apollo and Hermes take an interest in mortals on Earth due to their relationship with death. Throughout the book, the reader learns how each dog dies and whether or not the dog died happy. The death of humans is also a part of the narrative, along with how the dogs respond to it. Love is the third important theme in this novel. Majnun forges a bond with a human named Nina, who is married, and they form a bond due to his ability to speak and understand the English language. So they have long and meaningful conversations during their time together. They talk about themselves, life, what does love mean, what does it mean to be a dog, stuff like that. So they become best friends, and for Majnun, eventually he begins to love her, and that helps further his character development throughout the book. As an author, I'm usually asked about what I like about my books. So about this book, what I like the most is definitely the story and the character development for all the dogs. Like, I like that Majnun went from a complete loner and independent dog to a family dog that trusts a human of all people with its life. He became really loyal towards Nina towards the end of the book. He wouldn't let anything happen to her, and he would always confide in her when he had problems. And the reason why I like the story, I'm so interested in the story, is due to the fact that there is, some people believe that there is a possibility that there are gods who are meddling in the lives of mortals and how they determine how long each mortal can live. It's like exactly like in my book, how they can shorten the lives of some people and they can extend the lives of others. And just the fact that they can meddle in the lives of the dogs and give them all intelligence and then place them outside of their clinic into the real world where they interact with other dogs and how that changes things. And even more interesting, when they interact with humans and how humans will react to, well, talking dogs. And where will it go from there? Will human and dogs be able to have a full relationship that humans have with other humans? Will, I don't know, would the ancient Greek gods consider giving other animals human intelligence since it worked out well for the dogs? And if then, how would it go from there? Can many animals Imagine if monkeys had human intelligence. Some people claim that monkeys are more intelligent than the average human. Imagine them with their own intelligence plus human intelligence. Imagine if they just took over the planet. So what I'm basically trying to say is that my story for the 15 Dogs could lead into possible sequels and spin-offs, but with different animals, making one big universe. Alright, so the last question that I'm going to be answering is, why did I write this book? I wrote this book due to the fact that I personally think that dogs are constantly underestimated. People always say how dumb dogs are, the way that they roll around, just usually the way they act. So I thought it'd be an interesting idea to see if I could maybe show people what it would be like if dogs were just as smart as us. Like, a lot of people talk highly of the chimp family because of their intelligence. So I thought it would be a good idea to give that intelligence to dogs and see how people would react. And judging on the reviews I got for the book, I'm certain it paid off. Imagine how a dog would feel having a master. Especially since I think that dogs would have more to say than other animals if they were given the English language, due to the fact that humans basically, I wouldn't want to say mistreat dogs, but I think they kind of like humiliate them by constantly asking them to do tricks, to beg, roll over, stuff like that. The dog could look like it's enjoying it, but even in my book, the dog Benji, it hated doing tricks. It only did that to get treats. So I would honestly like to know the opinions of dogs that are asked to do such things, and what do they think of humans, what do they think of their packs, should there be leaders, and stuff like that. So that's basically the main reason why I wrote this book. And I hope you all enjoyed my little presentation. If you want to buy a copy of my book, you could find it in, well, stores, or just download it online. Peace.